problem we have here is it says ammonium dihydrogen phosphate formed from the reaction of phosphoric acid and ammonia is used as a crop fertilizer as well as a component in some fire extinguishers. Question number 1 says, what is the mass percent of nitrogen and phosphorus in a compound? And B, how much ammonia is incorporated into 100 grams of the compound? So first of all, what we have ammonium dihydrogen phosphate. Now, if we're going to write that out, ammonium is going to be NH4. Dihydrogen means we have 2 hydrogens and then the phosphate. Now, this happens to be a polyatomic dihydrogen phosphate. This happens to be a polyatomic cation. So this is a polyatomic anion. This is a polyatomic cation. This has a charge of +1. This has a charge of -1. So this is ammonium. And I'll get another color so we can see that better. This is the dihydrogen phosphate. It says we want to come up with a mass percentage of both nitrogen and phosphorus. So if we choose nitrogen first, the atomic mass of nitrogen is going to be 14.01 AMU. Now, if we determine the molar mass of ammonium dihydrogen phosphate, if we do the calculation using the periodic table, we get 115.03 AMU, where AMU stands for atomic mass units. Now, if we want to come up with the mass percent of nitrogen in ammonium phosphate, all we simply do is we take the molar mass of nitrogen and we're going to divide that by the molar mass of the ammonium dihydrogen phosphate. Now, since we only have 1 nitrogen, get back to pink, we'll use that color instead. Since we only have 1 nitrogen, it's going to be 14.01 AMU divided by the mass of our ammonium dihydrogen phosphate, which is 115.03 AMU. And then obviously we'll multiply that by 100. The AMUs cancel because we've got to have a unitless number here. And this becomes 12.81. Oops, sorry, I got that backwards. 12.18%. Now, the question I also asked for phosphorus. And the molar mass of phosphorus is 30.97 AMU. So if we take the molar mass of phosphorus and we're going to divide that now by the molar mass of our ammonium dihydrogen phosphate, 115.03 AMU, and we multiply that by 100, what we end up getting is we get 26.92%. So what this says is that by mass, 12.18% of the ammonium dihydrogen phosphate is going to be due to nitrogen. 26.92% of the mass is going to be due to the phosphorus. Now, B wants us to find out how much ammonia is incorporated into a 100-gram sample. First thing we have to do is, I'm going to make a little room here so you can see what I'm going to calculate. We're going to do the exact same thing we did. We're going to find the mass percent of ammonia, in ammonium dihydrogen phosphate. When we find that mass percent, we're going to multiply that by 100 grams. So if we have 100 grams of the ammonium dihydrogen phosphate, we can simply multiply that by the mass percent, and that mass percent will tell us the amount or the mass of ammonium in the ammonium dihydrogen phosphate. So we're going to do the exact same thing we did before, except we're going to be dealing with ammonium. So we're dealing with ammonium, which is NH4. We have 1 nitrogen, 4 hydrogens. 1 nitrogen is going to be about 14.01 AMUs. Each hydrogen is going to be 1.008. We have 4 of them, so we're going to take 4 times 1.008. And we're going to add that to 14.01. And for ammonium, we get 18.042 AMU is going to be the mass, the molar mass of ammonium. If we divide that by 115.03 AMU, and we multiply that by 100, once again our AMUs cancel, we get 15.68%. 15.68% of ammonium dihydrogen phosphate is going to be due to so 15.68% of the mass of ammonium dihydrogen phosphate is due to the ammonium cation. Now, if we have a 100-gram sample, if we have 100 grams of the ammonium dihydrogen phosphate, all right, and we know that 15.68% of that is due to the ammonium, and we want to determine what would be the mass of the ammonium in a 100-gram sample of this, all we simply do is we multiply it by the decimal form of the percent. So 0.1568 comes out to be 15.68 grams of the ammonium. So if we have a 100-gram sample, 15.68 grams of that 100-gram sample is going to be ammonium. If you have any questions on this, on mass percentages or anything else, let me know.